Hello twin flames, thank you for being here, for liking, subscribing and all the amazing comments and feedback you leave me. It means the world, as you know, and if you are new to the channel, welcome, subscribe, join our family because we're here for you every day, and every day I'm shuffling, and today I'm shuffling one deck. So we're going to keep it very sweet and simple today with just one deck of cards, but it's a powerful deck, the power of surrender. And on this journey we learn how to surrender. We learn how to hand it over to heaven, how to let go, how to trust, how to have faith, how to stop chasing our twin, and how to let them begin to move towards us. So I'm not going to use the word chasing because it's a more relaxed energy. When we release the pressure, the masculines feel that and they move forward of their own accord. It's very powerful. So what do we still need to surrender? So what's been surrendered or let go, please, today? What do we need to know for the connection? Thank you, angels. And what do we need to know for the divine feminines today? What do we need to know for the divine feminines today? And what do we need to know for the divine masculine today? Now, intuitively, they're giving me marriage. Look at this at the bottom, surrender your fear of intimacy, coming together. But that's not a card that they're guiding me to use. It's just if you were drawn to that, I feel that's a symbol of union. But what I'm really getting, they're giving me the word gathering today as well, because you're gathering knowledge, gathering together to understand and coming together too. They're giving me the feeling again like my rings need to come off. Now, these rings don't come off. Well, they do, obviously, took them off. But, you know, they're very, you know, compact to my hand, and they don't really come off unless there's a reason. So this is about karmic endings, marriages changing, the rings coming off. And I got this feeling around the divine feminine. So I do feel there's some divine feminines in relationships. Maybe you're married or you have a partner yourself, and you need to really start thinking about that, because you can't be in permanent union, which is a physical relationship in the physical world, if you still have a partner. Whether, you know, you see them as someone you really care about because, you know, you've had many, you know, years together, or you've got kids together, or maybe you've got a business together, or maybe it's abusive in some way and you can't wait to release it, but you don't know how to. Or you feel, what's the point if they're with their partner, or you're wondering what the future holds. Make that decision for yourself, not to end up with your twin, because that will happen naturally, but because you know you're not satisfied, you're not in love with them anymore, you've outgrown them, the connection is coming to a natural end. It's time to think about it. So the angels really want me to get that across, because so often we think that it's just the divine masculine who deals with 3D stuff, like a karmic relationship or a marriage, or, you know, concerns or fears. And as feminines, we go through those things too. So if you're that feminine watching thinking, well, it's me, I put my hands up, I'm owning up now, I know I need to divorce my husband, or I need to leave my karmic partner, or I need to make a change, or maybe it's your job that's like your husband, you know, and you feel married to your job, or if you know you have things to release and surrender, give it to heaven. And if you don't know how to free yourself, if you don't know how to move out of that energy, call on the angels. When we give it to God, a solution presents itself. So I feel I need to say that too. So the energy around the connection today, we need to surrender defensiveness and surrender addiction. So first of all, we get defensive on this journey. We all have at some point in time, because we have an ego. So even though we are spiritual beings having a human experience, or the other way around, if you want to see it as you are a human having a spiritual experience, both really mean the same thing. But the angels are saying to you, we do deal with defensiveness, because that comes from the ego, the 3D self. And that means when we get triggered, we've all been there, we've all been triggered by our twin and put barriers up, defensive, lashed out, said things we may regret. We may get triggered by a reader, maybe you get triggered by me and you get defensive. And, you know, maybe you have a conversation with someone and they say something you don't like, so you get defensive. Or we've all had to defend the journey in some way, even though we don't need to, but we felt we've needed to. So, you know, someone may say, oh, the twin flame journey isn't real, or this love isn't real. We get defensive. It's like we're a cat and the fur on the back stands up. We start the claws start coming out. So we need to surrender that, realizing that it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. It matters what we think. And that's the truth. So it matters what you think. You know your truth in here. You know what's in your heart. That's what matters. You could have 1,000 readings and they could tell you 1,000 different things, but the truth comes from in here. Listen to your heart. That's what the angels want you to be aware of. It says defensiveness is a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered, which means come back into the now and breathe and hear someone out. Then offer a clear, non-defensive response. So this is about learning how to respond with love instead of reacting with fear. And that's what we learn on this journey. And we learn that very powerfully through our divine masculine, because the things they do make us feel defensive because we think we've done something wrong. We take things personally. And so we get defensive. And the angels are asking you to surrender that today and feel at peace. And also surrender your addictions. Now, you may not feel you have an addiction, because we think of an addiction, we think of things like alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, toxic behavior. But an addiction can be an unhealthy kind of way of looking at this journey. When we depend on our twin for happiness, we think that we have to be in communication to feel at peace. Or we think that they have to give something to us to complete us. And that's just not true. That's codependent behavior that we release along the way. And I've been there. I know what it's like. And when we're in that energy, we're overgiving. So as a divine feminine, we can get addicted to overgiving. We don't do it, on purpose. We don't realize we're doing it. Sometimes we just overgive. And that becomes an addiction. So when we overgiving and we feel depleted, drained, tired, usually that's when the universe steps in and puts a block there or a barrier, which again can bring in defensiveness. So really we're being protected when separation comes in, or they're not replying or responding, and we get defensive. We think, what's going on? Why? Because we have to learn to release control. So control can be an addiction. Controlling things can be an addiction. And that's so true. So we have to look at things differently, because those are things we wouldn't really class as an addiction, yet it so is. And, being addicted to the phone, picking up the phone, seeing if they're online, maybe going through social media, that can become an addiction. So we have to really go within to access our own power and understand who we are. Now, the masculines deal with a lot of addiction in their world because they learn through the physical world. So they could be addicted to being in a relationship with someone because of the feeling they get from it. It's a comfort zone. They don't want to be there, but it feels natural because they've done it for so long, or they like what they get from it, which means security, an easy life, whatever it is. It doesn't mean they are satisfied there. It means they need to change it. And that may resonate for a feminine in a karmic situation. They may be addicted to a substance or alcohol because it numbs the pain. It hides them from the truth, or it helps them to get on with things if they're in a lot of pain in the heart. Addictions can be their own fear, going over things. So these are things being released. It says, whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. So this is about getting the balance right. Maybe your twin overworks, they're constantly working. Ask yourself why. If they're in a karmic relationship, they may be constantly working to try and escape their home life, or to try and make more money so they can leave and begin again. There's always a reason. We just have to look a bit closer. And for the feminine, look at this, surrender your need to always be right. And that's so true, because as a divine feminine, we do think we're right a lot of the time. We think that our way is the right way. And if the masculines aren't doing it our way, there's something wrong. And that's not true. That's something we have to learn to overcome, because the masculines doing it their way is the way for them. And that's right. And it's teaching you to let go of control and trust the love. It's also teaching you to set natural boundaries. So if your masculine isn't treating you right and you know it's not right, then it's time for you to step away and work on you and give back to yourself at that time and allow them to deal with their own stuff. So it says, give others the gift of letting them be right by yielding and be yielding, but by yielding you let go. Be yielding, not rigid, and this will help to resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. So remember, who was it who said, it's in The Secret, whether you are right or wrong, you are right. Why? Because it's your perception. So seek from a higher point of view and have compassion for what's going on and realise if they are struggling, if they are hurting you, they're hurting inside. They're struggling themselves. So let go. For the masculine, they need to surrender to the wisdom of their body. So they're also receiving messages in their physical self. Now, you as a divine feminine are very good at recognising now what they are. You're good at recognising if it's coming from your own self or your twin or from maybe someone you're connecting with. So the masculines are learning to understand their body because they're going through ascension. Listen to your body and the messages that it brings about a person or a situation. So the body is also a receptor. So we have a gut instinct which acts like an inner guidance system. We know when things feel good and when things feel bad. If they feel good, we get excited, elated, our tummy jumps a little bit. We feel good, our body is at ease and at peace. If we feel bad or we're stressed out, we start tensing up. We may have issues in the digestive system like constipation or diarrhea. We may have stomach pains, heart pains, all kinds of pains. So we're realising and working on what our body is speaking to us in every moment. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energised and happy, move forward. So in other words, if it feels good, keep doing what you're doing. If it feels bad, something needs to change. And the masculines are learning to listen to their body. They realise that when they are around you, divine feminine, their life works better. Their body feels better. They feel healthier and happier and excited too. So also they've got that butterfly in the tummy feeling, a bit nervous, a bit anxious, but in a good way. Yet when they're away from you, they feel drained, tired, depleted, angry, frustrated, sad. So all of those feelings and emotions and physical symptoms which affect the body are a sign of what's next. So your masculine saying, I'm listening to the body now. And surrender the habit of people pleasing. So an addiction for the masculines can also be people pleasing, which is destructive. Thinking I'll just go along with it because it keeps the peace, or it's easier to not rock the boat or start again, or it's better for my children, or whatever he's thinking. It says speak your needs and be true to yourself. So remember, that's what the masculine needs to do. When they choose themselves, they'll always choose the divine feminine because you are one. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. And you may think, well, my masculine isn't making me happy. He isn't with me right now, so why am I second best? But in his mind, in his eyes, if he's ignoring you, he's protecting you because he may be angry, frustrated, or dealing with guilt or pain, or have a toxic partner. So he's saying to you in his energy, I'm coming to you at the right time because I love you. I don't want to hurt you. I need to choose myself. Self-love is the key. He needs to find his freedom to be able to free to be with you, to be free to be with you. But the big message today is surrender, let go, surrender what you feel, you need to let go of, which could be a relationship. But for the feminine, your need to be right. That means let go of control. Allow others to do things their way. And then you surrender that defensiveness and you feel at ease. And, any addictions you have to, them reaching out to you or the need for them to do that starts to dissipate. And you listen to your body because your masculine is beginning to listen to theirs. So trust the journey. Everything is working out beautifully. Everything is working. You just have to trust that. I hope this helps. Have a great day and I'll see you soon.